Okay, as you noticed on the web page, one of the greatest ways the Savior taught for understanding was through a skill called likening. He would take his teaching and liken it to everyday things that the people knew. The reason the learning and study of the gospel is sometimes difficult is because of all the intangible principles. For example, repentance, love, faith, spirit, these are all intangible things or incapable of being perceived by the senses. For us, it is easy to convey what a seed is. It has a shape, color, a size, it can grow and develop. How big is faith? What does it look like? Is it blue? Can it grow and develop? And now we liken. We'll take the intangible faith and liken it unto a seed, which is the tangible object. Through this, we begin making associations and connections. In the next few minutes, we're going to learn how to make connections through this skill called likening. Our objectives are simply students will apply a strategy called likening to comprehend text. Also, students will relate prior knowledge to make connections to the text through likening. Oftentimes, people use the phrase, "You're comparing apples with oranges," when talking about two completely different things. Today, we're going to find the similarities. As you see, oranges and apples aren't that different. They're pretty similar. For example, they are both round. They both grow on trees. They both have seeds. They're both turned into juices. And they both have a protective outer layer. They're both fruit, and they both taste good and have vitamins. This is called likening. Again, likening is when we connect two things by looking for their similarities, not the differences. A little lesson learned from Forrest Gump. My life is like a box of chocolates. I love chocolates, but I don't like every chocolate the same. Some I think are gross. Sometimes when I pick up a chocolate from the box, I have to spit it out. So it's hard to pick the right kind of chocolate unless there's a map or a picture that shows what each piece is. Therefore, here are some similarities, and I would say my life is like a box of chocolates. My life is like a box of chocolates because you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes life is great, sometimes it is hard. But having a guide like parents, teachers, friends, and since this is a section on studying the scriptures, scriptures can also be like a map to help us along. So let's try another one. How many of you have ever learned a new card game or a board game like checkers? How about Angry Birds? Or even a new video game? So now you know what it feels like to learn a new game, right? Good. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it takes practice to get to really know how to play and get good at it. So here it goes. Here's the second example. And since I'm a teacher, I would liken it unto my situation and would say, teaching students is like learning a new game because, and I would fill in the blank. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think of a way school is like unto learning a new game. Good. Hopefully you're able to think of 2 or 3 ways in which learning in school is like learning a new game. Now we'll try it together. All we'll do is say, learning in school is like unto learning a new game because, and then you would add the connection you made on how they are similar. Now we're going to begin to start applying this skill to the studying of the scriptures. First, write 3 things down that you love to do or are really good at. For example, you might write eating, playing games, video games, writing, running, playing sports, and be specific. The more specific, the better. It might be playing games or school. like we had just practiced. I'll give you just a few seconds to write those 3 things down. On the screen are 3 gospel principles we will be learning about: missionary work, family, and commandments. Pick one and try to connect it to as many of those 3 things that you just wrote down. Then try to find as many similarities as you can, and then write them down by saying, the commandments are like unto running, because the commandments are like unto playing sports. What we'll do is we'll have you press pause on the screen and give yourself a few minutes to write down and think of as many things as you can. Good job. Hopefully you're able to get all 3 of them. Remember, likening is when we connect a gospel subject to an everyday object, either 1 or 2 things, by looking for the similarities, not the differences. This will help us make connections from our prior knowledge to help us understand the things we're studying about. And it also makes learning more fun and more relevant. Now you're ready to go on your own. Today we can read in 1 Nephi 17 or any chapter that you're on. As you read, look for truths and principles that are taught in those scriptures. When you're done, look back to those truths. Think of an object that truth can relate to. Then find out how many ways you can liken them. This is a great way to study and read the scriptures.